thank you for inviting me to speak at this National YRES conference today. I'm Gemma, Head of UK at Settify, which is, for those of you who don't know, a provider of family law technology and technology also for private individuals, but I'll be focusing on just the family law element today. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you about Settify's AI-driven tool, and I'll also briefly touch on the positive impact that technology and artificial intelligence has had on legal practice to date and potentially will have in the future. So I'll spend around 10 minutes showing you how our tech tool works and how it can assist your family law practice, both as an efficiency tool to help you save time and also to give clients access to an online tool 24/7 and give them the best possible service at the initial stages of instructing you. But before I do that, I think it's important to take a step back and reflect on how technology has evolved generally. Technology has changed modern life, both in a social sense and in a business sense. Who could predict in the last decade that on social media, algorithms would be able to recommend the next video for you to watch, what you read next. It has advanced so far that it's able to hand out our data intelligently enough to predict what you want to buy next before you knew you wanted to buy it. And a century ago, you wouldn't have been able to predict that these big names, such as big tech names such as Facebook, YouTube, Google, Twitter, would have such a huge control over our cognitive input. Google Drive, for example, or a cloud-based data services where you can back your data to a cloud to protect you if you lose your tablet or your phone or your laptop. There's even now an occupation called growth hack engineer, whose job it is to hack people's psychology so they can get more growth, more user signups, more engagement, can get you to invite more people on platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And in 2021, when you hear AI or machine learning, you might think of drones, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, human robots in Ex Machina that are more intelligent than humans. And even though there is a big gap between the AI of today and the AI depicted in films, the reality is AI runs today's world, even though you may not know it. Taking you back a couple of decades, when Google came out, no one believed that a search engine is going to reshape modern internet and modern life. It was also a revelation to lawyers that one day they might communicate via email. Clearly now, transmitting communication via email is a commonplace for family lawyers, and most 85% of adults have an email address. But really getting to my point, in a business sense, for the future of lawyers, if I told you it's conceivable that a firm would be charged with legal malpractice if they didn't use artificial intelligence, you probably wouldn't believe me. But looking at the journey of technology and research analysing the trends, that statement becomes a lot more believable. And looking to the future of law and family lawyers, the innovation brought around by technology, AI and big data will in turn transform our traditional legal sector over the decades. It's also predicted to assist with automating the court service, not only automating a lawyer's own way of working, increasing their efficiency and productivity in practice, but also to assist with the court service. It's common knowledge to those practicing family law there is an increased number in litigants in person to the court system, so AI could give more family law individuals access to justice. Assist with the backlog UK family law courts face, in turn relieve the pressure on the UK government to hire more fee-paid and full-time judges to deal with family law cases. And some of the technologies that would allow this transition are quite basic. For example, the first generation is the idea that people who use the court system, they submit evidence and arguments to the judge online or through some sort of electronic communication, which essentially would then move judgments from the courtroom to online. Stepping up from that, one day it's predicted that we will have machine learning systems that monitor the outcome of court judgments over a number of years, and then they'll be able to predict the outcome of those court judgments based on the past decisions made using predictive analytics. And accordingly, the system will then be able to make a prediction about the likely outcome of a case and accept that as a binding order. Although much like the analogy I drew between the futuristic concepts of machine learning robots in Ex Machina, we are also a long way away, but the technology dictates that this is where we're heading. But bringing you back to today, some examples of advances in technology for lawyers has allowed modern software to scan and analyse legal documents, file sharing tools, the ability to streamline communications, a virtual office and remote working, virtual hearings. And there's no doubt, particularly during the COVID pandemic, alternative methods of practicing law have proven invaluable. So that moves me on nicely to what we do as a concept at Settify. Essentially, in a nutshell, Settify's tool transforms the way that a prospective client can engage a lawyer. So by a click of a button, family law clients can 24/7, outside of office hours, have access to online guidance, which is personalised in light of their circumstances. And our tool acts like an online paralegal, intelligently gathering that client's information using simple AI like logic trees to emulate that intelligent and personal conversation online. So I will jump on my PowerPoint now so you can see it in action. Let me start by briefly telling you a bit of background about Settify. Settify is an Australian company and was launched in 2017. The family technology was brought to the UK in 2018 and it's won numerous awards for innovation within the legal industry. It's used by many of the top tier practices, including Flip, Pennington's Manchester Cooper, Mills & Reeve, Kingsley Napley, and it's now used by over 100 firms in the UK. Clients can access the system one of two ways. The first I've already mentioned is via buttons on your website. The second and the most predominant way that firms use Settify is via the email invitation. So this can be seen as a business efficiency tool. Clients seeking family law advice approach your firm in the usual way, and you can email them with a link to Settify. The email itself can be tailored to meet your firm's needs. We can attach your terms of business letter, a video conference link, your anticipated hourly rate, essentially any information necessary to inform the client about your firm prior to that meeting with the lawyer. Client then clicks on the link and is taken to the online portal where they can start providing their background information. A profile to the fee earners are also included in that email, and the client can click on the link and be taken straight to your website. We've also built in automatic reminder emails to follow up with the client to take that admin time away from the lawyers and support staff, so to make basically the onboarding process as streamlined as possible. The second way that clients can access the system is via buttons on your website, which is more a marketing approach. We customise the look and feel of the buttons and build them into the heart of your website, personalising them in accordance with your firm's branding, logo, graphics, fonts, etc. Our experienced team of developers can place the buttons on a number of pages to make them look as accessible as possible for clients and to act as a hook to basically grab the client's attention, and once they then click on that Get Started Now button, they're taken to the initial induction. So the first question the client's asked is how can they be helped? The example I'm actually showing you today is divorce and finance, but as mentioned previously, clients can receive online assistance for all family law matters. The client's asked a series of 7 questions, which takes around 60 seconds. You'll see the system responds to the client in real time. It speaks to them like an online paralegal, recognising their name, their gender, and the name of their partner. It takes them through a few key questions. So are you married? Do you have children? How are things going? A couple of questions about divorce and jurisdiction. And there's also an amicability slider there, which you will have seen. There's a couple of finance questions, and as the client's inputting all of this information, the algorithms are gathering the responses and marrying it with bespoke guidance for the client about where they stand in light of their circumstances, what next steps might look like given the issues in their matter, and also how a lawyer can help. It's obviously quite an overwhelming process for clients. There's a lot to take in, so this support has been designed to help prepare clients for the first meeting and introduce them to concepts that they will have to come to terms with to help them start thinking about next steps and the issues in hand. So you are aware the guidance and everything you've just seen on this separation pathway can be tailored by your firm, and the desired changes simply need to be made to the blueprints in advance of placing the buttons. So the questionnaire process is broken up into two parts. You've got the initial induction, which takes around 60 seconds, and it's designed to impress the client and hook them to engage your firm. And secondly, the detailed induction section takes the client through all the information that a family lawyer would in that first meeting. So it's really detailed, and it will take the client anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. It takes them through key dates, so cohabitation, marriage, separation, current and historic living arrangements, child arrangements, and then all the assets and liabilities. The algorithms along the way are gathering the client's responses to ensure that the client will only ever be asked questions relevant in their circumstances. So, for example, a client who's got specific assets such as pensions, shares, investments, business interests, trusts, will only be asked detailed questions about those assets in circumstances that they have them. Lastly, the system takes the client through key court considerations, so all the detail that you'd be thinking of in sections 3 to 5 of your Form E, future needs and expectations, pre- and post-marital assets, and then financial and non-financial contributions. One really great feature you'll have seen as we go through is that the information gathering process is broken up into bite-sized chunks, making it really easy for the client to complete. It's very interactive, and clients can access this on their smartphone or tablet. The client can also save their changes and come in and out at any stage. And there's also confidence sliders there for the client to let you know if the figures they're putting in are just guesses, so it reminds you to revisit those figures. So hopefully you've got a good understanding of what the client sees, and I'll now show you the lawyer experience. Just to let you know, in between you downloading the documents, you are protected from conflict. So once the client has clicked the book an appointment to speak with one of our team buttons at the bottom, you will then receive an email which says, great news, a new client wants to engage you. The firm will be provided with details for the purpose of the conflict check, so client's name, date of birth, address, and same for the partner. The firm runs their conflict check in the usual way, and then subject to there being no conflict, the lawyer can then download the series of documents. So the series of documents that are generated for you as the lawyer are the client brief, which you can download in Word or PDF, and you can save it straight to your case management system. The chronology, the asset schedule, and the first draft Form E. So this is the client brief. The executive summary is designed to be a 60-second snapshot of the client's circumstances, and it's been created so it's quick and easy to read. It sets out the background information, key priorities or concerns that the client has identified, an overview of the key relationship dates, and an overview of the finances, so you, the lawyer, can immediately get a feel for what the client's case is about. The second page takes you through the child arrangements, so what they've been in the past, what they are now, and what the parents want for the future. It also sets out schooling arrangements and work commitments that need to be considered alongside those arrangements. It then goes on to set out the client's contact details, which saves you or your PA some admin time, and then it sets out the detailed information, including the first on the second page is the matrimonial home. So details information including the value, any mortgage liabilities, potential early repayment penalty fees, and then any contribution or deposit arguments that the client would like you to know about. It then sets out the full schedule of assets and liabilities, including a confidence bar showing you how confident the client is in the figures that they've given, or whether these are just guesses where you'll see the red bar. There's also the non-marital column on the right. It then takes you through the court considerations, so non-marital assets, acquired pre or post-marriage, contribution arguments, both financial and non-financial, and then also assets that have been inherited throughout the course of the relationship, and any post-separation disposals or of assets. It's then got the occupation and income section, so what they are now, what they've been historically, potential earning capacity, income needs, and then periods of unemployment. There's also the foreseeable financial resources here too, and details about inheritance expectations. So the appendices drill into a bit more detail, but one of the really great features is the foreign currency exchanger. So great for clients that have international assets, and the brief will essentially convert all foreign currency to UK sterling to save you some time. You've then got the asset schedule, so it intelligently pulls through all of the information that the client's put in and generates a full schedule of assets and liabilities in Excel format. You can save this again straight to the case management system and use it as a live document as the case progresses. It pulls through the confidence levels as well that the client has given previously, and there's also the non-marital column on the left. So the schedule sets out the marital and non-marital assets in the usual chronological way: capital, liabilities, pension, and then income at the bottom. It also calculates all the totals for you, and it also calculates the percentages. There's also the chronology, which is a great visual aid for you to staple the series of events in your mind, or if you do end up in court, you can have that ready on file for the first appointment. So it's downloadable in Word, and again, you can save it to the case management system. Lastly, a first draft for me is generated in Word format. So that is a quick run through of how the system looks in action. I've asked for my details to be circulated after this event if anyone would like to get in touch with me, and I would be more than happy to speak to anyone that would like further information about costs, how we can specifically integrate Settify into your family law practice, or even the rollout process. Please feel free to get in touch. And thank you for having me.